What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFS University. My name's Sam, this is Travis and Tyler. What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we have taken a bunch of your guys' UFS topics and some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. So with that said, I want to direct you out to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. We just did a whole huge shakeup out there for our tier levels, and the biggest thing being if you subscribe at the $1 tier, you get this entire podcast unedited asterisk for as an MP3. Like 2 weeks earlier than we put it out on YouTube. So if you're into that, please send us a dollar, and the more you give, the more cool stuff you get. So with that, topic 4 of this week is going to be brought to us by Travis and the UFS Discord. If you do not know the UFS Discord, hit one of us up, and we will send you a link to the UFS Discord. Yep, it's a riot.
Place.
It's a riot. So Travis, take it away, man. What is your topic?
So recently, me and the UFS Discord, we were discussing ways to make going second feel not terrible.
If you watched the video yesterday, we talked about Jason's idea of turbo mulligans, and I sent out a challenge, so look at that video for the challenge.
Yep.
And this is just a different way to handle it, Travis.
So we were all talking about how much better it would make going second if you said, well, if you're the player going second, the first thing you do after you draw your hand and decide your mulligans is you can play one foundation directly from your hand into your staging area. Essentially, you can Turbo Man. And we think that this fixes a lot of problems because a lot of problems come through, like, your turn 1 opponent builds more than you, and you just get killed on turn 2 because you weren't able to build and also hold hand so you don't immediately die to them. And we think this fixes a lot of problems with that. And I personally would love to see this happen. Now, obviously, playtesting needs to be done, and like with everything, obviously, playtesting needs to be done. But I think it could very, very well be a new rule that makes going second not feel terrible.
So what would be is you review one card into your staging area instead of the discard pile?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And then you draw back up to your hand size?
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe.
Here's my issue with it. I think we get things that activate upon entering the staging area. We get stuff like down the road we get if this card enters your staging area as your only foundation, draw a card, or your opponent discards a card, or something along those lines. We might, or like does Hi-Fi Stereo work on this, and your opponent's actually down a card first turn?
Yes.
Does that work?
Well, if you're going second, it would just be like a review for them because you're adding the card to your staging area after they've already built. So unless you're building that, committing it, making them discard a card, and then killing them with 0 foundations on your turn 1, it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Turn 0 as I used in the video prior.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The major one we talked about was Lonely. And we don't even think that it's that big of an issue. Like, obviously, it needs to be play tested, but Turbo Man could do the Lonely Scorch Will shenanigans, and he sucks. He hasn't seen play in a rather long while.
Well, then at that point, we get to take and go, so Turbo Man, this singular character who's honestly, his card is not very good, he can do this cool only thing, but what if any other all life or void character gets to do this?
So
all life of void character that shares void, fire, death.
So we thought about this too, and honestly, you get to play up at most 4 copies of Lonely in your deck.
Yeah.
And even being a 7-hander, you have to see one of your 4 copies within your first hand going second. So there's already a prerequisite to it because you have to be going second.
Okay, so that just means that you're playing Cyber Dragons now. You just choose to go second. I win the die roll, I'll go second.
Yeah. So like, and not only that, like you have to see it. You get to play 4 copies of this card in your at minimum 59 plus character deck.
Yep.
And if you don't see them, your deck doesn't do anything.
Or your deck does do stuff and it's just extra gas.
Yeah, because after you build that first lonely, or after you build any foundations, that lonely doesn't do anything for
Totally.
you. It's a non-block. You're playing 3 dead cards in your deck.
Yeah, I get it. I understand that. Until you start killing people on turn 0, which is what the whole point of the lonely does, which is what we don't want. We don't want my first turn 1 player to feel like, oh shit, this is turn 0. I'm not supposed to be interacting with you. Why are you doing this?
Okay, so to compare it to something,
Please
it would
do.
be like getting Exodia turn 1 in Yu-Gi-Oh. If it happens, it was bound to happen anyways.
You don't see the first 14 cards of your deck in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that's the problem with it. Is like,
I mean, yes, assuming that
like,
you're a
it's-
7-hander.
if you're a
and you
7-hander, it's fairly easy to see 1 of a 4 of in the first 14 cards of your deck. Like that's a little over a fifth of your deck.
Yeah, but
Six.
then you also have to see the other cards in order to kill them on turn 1. Like, assuming you're playing a Scorch Wheel deck, you gotta play this 5 diff, and you're playing 2 checks.
Well, so I guess the thing is that with Lonely turn 0, and you're a 7-hander, you're probably building 7 that turn. Because you build 1 Lonely, 2 other foundations, and then 4 of whatever, and then you still have 3 blocks in your hand, and you're blocking anything that they're throwing at you. So they don't get your opponent doesn't get a turn 1 because they're going first, because they're going to throw attacks at you, and you're going to block them.
I think I'm
problem
down
at
for this
all.
if you just ban Lonely.
Yeah, I mean, Lonely is.
I think Lonely is going to create some stupid condition that somebody's going to break, that we're going to get another DeForest or Athena, or Assets Athena, and it's just not going to be fun to play against for the 3 months that it's legal, and then it's going to get banned eventually. I think if we're going to be doing this, and there's a card in the game that says if it's added, you get to build 2 free ones by itself, we just take that away.
Yeah.
I think it'll just save a bunch of headaches later.
I can agree with that, but like I said, we need to play test it. Like there are not even just us, there are other communities that will be play testing it, like Rochester. I know Kevin said next week he's going to have the Rochester guys test it out to see if just how broken it can be or not broken at all. So like we just have to wait for those results because we don't actually know. Like, we can assume these things.
You're
We
right.
can assume that Lonely's going to be broken, but we don't actually know.
Besides the Turbo Mulligan and the Hyper Mulligan that I suggested in the prior video, trademarked, are there any other going second things that could possibly make it more fair? Even if it's like you get to review 2 cards at the beginning of your turn, or you get to scry if you wanted to. Like that's a Magic term that says you like look at the top card of your deck and put it on the bottom if you want, something like that. Like guarantee that first check or something along those lines. Like something that's adequate to Yu-Gi-Oh or adequate to UFS. Excuse me.
So you review and scry at the same time?
Yeah,
Is
sure. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Take the top card of your deck and put it on the bottom if you want. You
Honestly,
guarantee that build one. Whatever.
something that would fix a lot of characters, specifically lower hand size characters, and would make them better on the draw. Because I know it's a really huge problem to just be like a 5-hander, have to build 3, hold 2 cards in your hand, and then suddenly you get killed because they stunned you 2 on a missile launcher. Oh wait, I'm Jet. I stunned you 4 on a missile launcher. Now my attacks are killing you
Yeah.
because you couldn't block them.
Yep.
Because you can give.
And I think
Enough
it would
movement speed.
honestly be, if you're going second, you get to draw a card. Like, just draw a card if you're going second.
Man, that makes 700s disgusting.
It does
I
make
mean,
700
it's
disgusting.
sure, but like, they get to build 5 at most, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
And then they have 3 cards in hand, and it's pretty easy to still kill a 7-hander through 3 cards in hand in this meta.
so okay.
Then they built 5 bad cards and their deck's bad. I think if you have 5 foundations, if you have 5 ready foundations and 3 cards in your hand, and you don't draw the nuts, then my deck was bad,
So
or my deck
here's-
had a bad matchup.
So I'm kind of on board with this more because
I hate 3 people on this podcast.
right.
Getting outnumbered, getting bullied.
So like with a 7-hander, even if you draw that extra card, you're probably not going to build any more than you were already going to build originally.
Sure.
So like the only thing is that you get to go through one more card in your deck, and I get that that's also very strong, but like you're not building more, right? No matter what, I guess asterisks, you're going to fail that 4th check, and you can't do anything about that. So what it becomes is I just got to go one deeper into my deck for going second.
What if? So here's a trade-off for you, because I don't like to draw one for free. What if it was like a coin? What if if you're going second, you have the choice after you see your first starting hand to as just a game mechanic, you can tap your character to draw a card. So you lose the possible +1 to your check, but you get the additional card in your hand.
No, I agree with that. I like that.
Yes, but to build on what Tyler was saying, 8-handers are only as good as the cards in their deck. So if we look at like a Jiffney Jamber, she was only as good as the cards that she played.
Yeah.
Like, being an 8-hander doesn't immediately make you just like this nuts character that can destroy everyone. It's the cards in your deck that do. So like, if let's say you're a 7-hander, you draw your extra card, you build some foundations, and they don't actually do an insane amount to interact with your opponent, which is fine, because not all foundations in your deck are going to interact with your opponent in some way, and sometimes you just don't see those answers. Like, that's always a thing in UFS.
If this becomes a rule, all I'm going to do is play Evil Vega and go second. Like, that's just all that's going to happen. I'm going to play Evil Vega. I'm going to have Deliverance and Flame Aura as like the 2 cards, and I'm gonna build 6 and pass because of all the free fucking cards you're giving me. And then I'm gonna have Vega ready because I passed all these fucking cards, and then be like, kill me on 2. Oh, you didn't? Well, I built 6 on my turn 0, and I kept Flame Aura and Deliverance. So I'm gonna draw more cards. I'm gonna burn you to death. Draw. Oh, these cards burnt me to death. You're dead.
So
that's gonna kill people.
How likely is it that you're actually gonna build a whole ton? So like
Under the evil symbol, absolutely I am. I chose 2 cut spam in my Evil Vega deck.
A 2 difficulty.
Yeah.
A 2 difficulty. A 1 difficulty. A 0 difficulty. A 0 difficulty.
So
and that 4th one,
so
you have to hope you don't check a 3.
This is on a 4. Yeah, I have to. So if we're assuming optimally, we're assuming everything goes right.
Right.
I can build my 6. So
it's 2. So
3, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0. There's 6. That's on a 5.
Right.
And then I have 3 cards in my hand, and I'm Vega. So you have -1 card, or you hit me to 9. Oh no! I'm gonna kill you.
So
I get that Vega's the outlier here, but this is all I'm gonna play.
Well, with the State of Evil, I don't even think we can assume that your build turns are going to be optimal like ever, because playing Vega, what are the odds that you're not playing Coffee Samba, that you're not playing Bloody High Claw, that you're not playing all these nutty 1 and 2 checks?
You're not playing Bloody High Claw. Flame War exists.
Sure.
Coffee Samba, I'll give you. Coffee Samba, I'll give you. But now we have, instead of Coffee Samba, why would I not play the Morrigan card? What's that? Fucking Soul Fist. Fusion Soul Fist. Why would I not play that card instead? So there's my replacement if I get to draw that extra card. So now that card actually says draw 3 at the end of it. So like, I get the Coffee Samba stun is nuts, but this card is a 7-speed attack that is for 8 or how much damage? 7. It's a 7/7 that drew me 2 cards, gained me 2 life, so I can cut more and draw more. Like, I get to use my cool desperation abilities even more because I gained that life and then pulled it back. And it's on a 3 diff. It's comparable.
So I think at that point it comes down to your opponent knowing how to play against Vega, because I don't think Vega would be a problem if you put an experienced player against this Vega deck specifically, doing this with the new rule. Someone who's played the deck, been behind it, or someone who's played against it a lot, like I know us in Omaha have, because you played that deck for a very long time. If you know how to play against Vega and you know how to deal with his antics, you can win for sure.
Mad Pro going second gets to dig an extra card for whatever the fuck he wants.
That's fine. Mad P rarely ever builds more than 4.
But I'm saying he's allowed to build 5.
That's fine.
I'm saying he's allowed to. And
can.
that build 5 means that when you do check a 1 on your turn 1, you're still gonna win. Like, oh man, I checked a 1 on my Punch and Judy. Fuck, I guess I'll tap this extra foundation I was given for free because of the extra card.
I think this is definitely another thing that'd be very good with play testing, because I'm in the boat that no matter what, you're gonna build 4 at most either way. Like I think that the probability of building 5 or 6 is extraordinarily slim. So like, I think I guess it's just another testing thing.
Heidi's gonna fuck people up. Like, I'm just looking at 7-handers now. Heidi's gonna murder you. He gets an extra card to dig for a mech. That's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Sniper Joe. Let me build an extra foundation. It's chill. QB. No, but like, I don't know, man. I think there's a reason that we have the hand sizes that we do. I think it sounds really awesome for the low hand size characters, and I totally agree with you. But this is just back to our attacks are super nutty, and so if 5-handers are going to get demolished, their foundations aren't going to matter, but their life total does. Where the trade off is my 7-hander, I got to build those extra cards. I got to block that 1 interactable attack because you stunned me 2, and I still had 3 foundations ready. But like, the issue that we're coming back to is like, we keep using missile launcher as the example of the best card because it is. Maybe that's the issue, not this draw thing. Maybe, and this is crazy. Let's change the idea. Maybe we take out missile launcher coffee samba and then we have this conversation and see if it matters. Maybe we change up what the attacks are in the game, and then we figure out what's up.
I mean, I think it's a bit late for that because
I don't think so.
Even if we get rid of missile launcher and coffee samba,
Name an attack that's comparable
to missile launcher and coffee samba.
Yeah.
Well, in very specific characters, we can look at like Under Raptor.
Okay.
His ultra rare is comparable to those 2 cards.
Absolutely. Now here's what I want you to do. You ready? So Bebop came out at the very beginning of the year, correct? Mm-hmm. And this set came out at the very end of the year. Mm-hmm. At the end of 2019, I want you to compare how many decks have had missile launcher and coffee samba, missile launcher, coffee samba, and then Hurricane of Death. And I want you to count, and I want you to see how these 2 columns have hit 24, and this column hit 6 because it was playable in like 2, maybe 3 decks. Somebody's gonna come with a quick man and top because the deck's nuts or whatever. But like, nobody's gonna play this card because it's so niche to this one thing. Whereas missile launcher, I'd off symbol it if I could. I'd be like, if there was some way, I'd like if I could play Push the Limit and add a symbol to my character that's shared with missile launcher, I'd do it. Fuck it, we'd give it a shot. Like, I think missile launcher, coffee samba are so good that it's making this turn 1 aggro. This turn 1 has to be interactable, and so there's this happening. Now, obviously, I'm taking my step back. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to get some entertaining content to you, all the good people. Maybe they don't need to go. That's fine. Maybe it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. What I'm saying is it maybe that the attacks are killing people too soon so that their turn 1s don't matter. Turn 1s, you're at half health.
Well, when I say I think it's too late to go back, I'm not even just specifically talking about those 2 cards. I think the power level of our attacks in general have gone so much higher than what they used to be. Like, let's look at 2 Street Fighter ultras, like Yoga Inferno and Akuma's ultra rare.
Sure.
Like, if we compare,
they're both 7-1s.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know, but not even just that.
Kami's ultra rare.
Yeah, Kami's ultra rare. One
Sure.
of the best ultra rares in that set, arguably.
Yeah,
not
arguably.
If we compare it to the ultra rares we have now, it pales. It just pales in comparison to the ultra rares we have now.
I disagree. I do not believe that Kami's ultra rare is worse than Lilith's ultra rare.
Okay,
I do not believe that it is worse than Gil's Seraphic Wings.
Okay.
I do not believe it's better than. I do not believe it's any worse than Gil's Big Baby attack. His 6 diff. His 6 diff is very good. It is very good, and if you get caught without a low block, it's gonna murder you. But so is Kami's. It's going to hit you. It's going to stack. We're going to tap Kami. It's going to play it again. We're going to hit you. It's going to stack. It's a guaranteed 5 check for my next attack to go. It canceled it, guaranteed my next check, and I continue. That's fine for an ultra rare. For a 5/3 that makes itself a 5 check, that sounds great. That's very good. Stun 2 plus 4 speed, powerful 4 on a 5 diff for 6 damage. Stun X, multiple X. X equals the number of cards that you had, and I got to draw cards too. The cards in your hand don't matter because you can't play them because I stunned you out. So like you don't get to play the game against those 2 cards, where you do get to play the game against ours. And there's the difference. There's a difference. Missile launcher can do infinite damage. Missile launcher can do X amount of damage. X equals your momentum times fucking 4, right? Raptor's ultra rare, the one that you compared it to. Let's say you have the highest difficulty foundation that we could possibly have, which is a 5 currently. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 6 plus 5, that's 11. Plus Raptor's 2. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
That's by itself and Raptor. So that's 13 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's a 6 low for 13, where if I wanted to, with a momentum, I could do the same thing with missile launcher on a 5 diff. And the stun 2 affects the rest of the turn, as opposed to it's just 6 low. I didn't get to interact with this one, but with stun 2, I don't get to interact with any of them. We've devolved just a smidge.
Okay.
Just a smidge. I'm back on it. But what I'm saying is, back to the original topic. Maybe this going turn 2 doesn't suck so bad if I'm not being killed on my opponent's turn 1.
That, I guess that is yes. But I think right now, the way the game is going, that's never going to happen. So then we need to come up with a different option than nerf all these attacks. I think that's where we'll also thread it a little
not fixing the problem, though. That is putting a Band-Aid. And once again, Tamron Dallas Cardwell, the sixth best player of 2018, does not want to see these cards banned.
Right.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if the problem is that I'm dying on turn 1 and my turn 0 going second needs to be better, then why not just make my opponent's turn 1 worse? Why not make it more fair?
Okay, well, here's the thing, though, is that's not fun in a game.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, here, we're going to introduce this new rule that makes one person have a better time, the other person not have a better time.
Yeah, unban Quan Chi.
Right.
God.
That's what you're saying, right?
No, I'm saying that...
I was playing Quan Chi and I was having a blast. And so you punished me for having a blast?
No, because that was degenerate and giving...
And you don't think plus 4 speed, stun 2, powerful 4 on a 5 diff is not
Okay.
degenerate.
Here's the thing. So we're gonna take a step back and go.
Okay, so you can interact with missile launcher though. Quan Chi literally said
on turn 1.
So if you see your answers, which there are more answers for speed and stun than there are for whatever Quan Chi was doing, because I guarantee you there is a lot more answers for things being stunned or committed or speed being increased in standard than there are for, well, I'm going to loop this one attack over and over again, and I'm going to remove these characters, and my character's going to do this broken thing, and you don't get to interact with it, because if you do, my attacks are going to get massive, and you're not going to be able to eat them all.
Tyler?
What I'm saying
This is a fun
is
topic.
that if we're going back to, let's go back to the original topic.
We're back to it.
All right.
Draw some cards.
How
Play some foundations.
how do you make going second better?
You're beating me with science over here, you galaxy brain. We're back. We're not even talking about how to make turn 1. We're talking about going second.
Right. That's what the original topic is. How do you fix going second?
How do you make going second not feel bad, right? Is
Right.
that what you
Yeah.
said?
Right.
Yeah. So how do you make it feel bad? By nerfing the other guy.
Right. So I don't think that implementing a negative to I don't think making a negative turns the other side into a positive. Right?
Man. So there is a different philosophy in the game. I would rather have both players be neutral. I would rather have both I would rather have this rather than this. I think this is just as bad as
Right.
this. I think both thumbs up. I think both positives are not good. Because now it truly is. It is not a sick. It stopped being a die roll and it started being what are the 6 cards in my hand? What are the 7 cards in my hand?
Isn't that a little bit better?
Is it?
So like then it comes down to deck building and not luck, which isn't that what people kind of want? So like it stops being fun when you just get blown out because you got really unlucky. Like that's what makes you salty.
No.
That's what makes me salty.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Same.
So I didn't lose to your deck. I lost to your card.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying is you drew a card. You drew the 1 of the 4 of missile launcher. You drew the 1 of the 4 of coffee samba. You drew the 1 of the 4 of whatever card is the next big bad hurricane of death that you're allowed to play on turn 1 because it's a fucking 5 div in this magical world. And you lost a card, not to the deck. It wasn't a deck build choice. It was this card's nuts. I put 4 of it in my deck. Now we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Cool. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for the past 3 weeks, and it was literally my opponent drew a singular card and I lost. My opponent drew Ash Blossom and I fucking lost. I played 1 card that said I was gonna do something cool, and they went, I'm gonna put this card in my discard pile and you're not. And I went, sick, go. I lost to a card. I never lost to anybody's deck. Not one time did I have a grindy, fun, awesome. Both had a neutral start. Both had to have a little bit of luck in our checks and a little bit of luck in our draw, and the 6 cards worked together. No, it was, I'll play my combo piece and I'll cross my fingers and hope. Did you check your missile launcher on your turn 1, not 0, and build just slightly better than me? Ah, man, your 1 card beat me. Fuck.
So you're saying nerf?
I'm saying it's an option.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the option. I'm saying it's an option.
Okay.
Do you want to be done with this topic? Am I just debating too well? Or debating not well enough? Travis.
So
5th topic. How well am I doing debating wise?
No comment.
All right, cool. Good job. You're invited back.
Okay. I'm losing the thread a little bit. That's the problem that I'm dealing with.
Sure. So I've come to a different what makes turn 2 better, and we might continue this conversation off air. I'm not positive if the good people are even still listening, but what makes turn 2 not feel bad, I think were the words that you used. And if I want to
Those
not
were the
feel,
words you used, but yeah.
he said that, did you?
Yeah, that is what I said.
You definitely how to
make turn 2 not feel terrible.
You repeated it, and that's what stuck in my head.
Yeah, because I listened to the conversation. Sorry, buddy. But how do I make that not feel good? If we both had ice cream, we both feel good. But if we both didn't have ice cream, I mean, we both would feel not good. I mean, we both would feel neutral. But if we earned our ice cream, if we both had a chance to earn our ice cream, sure. If you got to go up first, though, that's fine. As long as we both had the same quarters. That might not have been the strongest example. But like I want this true neutral start.
Okay.
And I'm not positive that building a foundation that might have a nutty interaction because of lack of playtesting, and I get that we're gonna do that, whatever. Or Jasco accidentally printing a card because every card game accidentally prints a card that they shouldn't. Right. I could think of 2 that I've said 45 times in this video already. I'm afraid of changing the rule that bad. Changing the core mechanic of this game is going to matter. But at the same time, the counter argument is if we just take away these 2 power cards, I still always went first when I was playing Elecman, my very first event. I never, ever wanted to go second. And so maybe there's some validity for this. I'm just trying to throw out another possible option to get your brains to think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think change is a good thing in card games. I think when you get too stuck in your ways and too used to the game, it stops being fun after a while. Because if we walk the same path constantly, the path gets old.
Tyler, do you have anything you want to say? I feel like you want to.
I just don't know what we're talking about anymore.
We're talking about turn 2.
Are we? So we're talking about. Fuck, I don't know. We're talking about how to make turn 2 not bad, and you're saying don't print good cards.
I'm saying don't print cards that make my opponent feel bad on turn 2.
But that's so like don't print good cards because that's anything. It's like
no, I'm not gonna play a From Hell on turn 2. Like I'm not. It's a 6 diff attack.
No matter what, there'll always be good cards in this game, right?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Let's try to be negative to be negative.
So you
Absolutely not.
I don't think the answer can be that we have to somehow make it so that who's ever going first doesn't have good cards on turn 2. Like, I think it's got to be you give right now there's a neutral and a negative, right?
No, I think right now it is a positive and a negative.
Sure, it's positive and a negative.
Yeah.
So, this is, I think, the way that you make it neutral. Is that you keep the positive, but you make the other one a positive also.
There is a beautiful video out there by Core A Gaming that is called Nerfs versus Buffs, or Buffs versus Nerfs, that I'm going to have you watch at the very end of this, okay? And if I remember, or Tyler remembers, or James or whoever has access to edit the description, sorry, buddy, I want to put that link in the description.
Right.
And I want everybody to watch this. And this is a logic that buffs are always better than nerfs. Buffs are always better than nerfs. Buffs make everybody feel great. Nerfs make the selective people feel bad. What I'm saying is not to buff people. I'm saying to nerf the turn. To nerf the possibility of dying on turn 1. And I don't think if you take and you buff everything, if everything is nutty, everything turns into an FTK game, and that's not fun. I've lived this game. I've lived it. I played Yu-Gi-Oh forever.
Hold up, aren't we in the meta of everything is good, so everything's okay?
See, that is a mindset that you can have. But you saw today as we were filming our game that if one slight thing goes wrong, he doesn't have any fun because I didn't play a game with him. I got dumpstered on my turn 2. I got dumpstered on 2. He built. I built. He put me to 2. I didn't do anything. He killed me. Oh, man.
Okay.
What an interesting game.
I see what Tam's saying, and I know this from playing Weiss. A lot of the time, yeah, it's not fun to play against someone who isn't having their best game. It's really not. Like,
how much fun do you have fucking up scrubs at locals? You sit down across somebody who, hey, it's my first time playing the game. I'm so excited. You're just like, shuffle. Hey, man, I topped Nats this year. This is going to be hype. Boom, boom, boom. That feels good, huh?
I wouldn't know. I've never topped the Nats.
Yes, you have. You topped in teams.
That doesn't count.
That super counts.
I had 2 people. I was standing on the back, riding you like a fucking chariot.
drag to victory.
But what I'm saying is, this is like the best content we've ever produced.
This is great.
What I'm saying is, and you're saying the same thing, is it's not fun if both people aren't playing the game.
Right. So what I'm saying is I don't understand what your argument is 100%.
So if I'm going first and my cards are just more privileged than yours are while I'm first,
yeah, then
it's
second
not
player
fun.
Gets some sort of advantage to make it even out. Not that player 1 gets some sort of disadvantage to make it even out.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is that it seems like your argument is player 1 should have a disadvantage. Should have some sort of disadvantage. And the examples you were given were don't have good cards. I'm saying I think it's easier to do and logical to have player 2 have some sort of slight advantage. Now, whether that is they get to draw an extra card by committing your character, because I think that's a much fairer way of doing it.
Was Navos fair?
No.
Why?
Because it's just a very, very good card. I'm trying to think of like this because you could give it 1,000,000 speed, 1,000,000 damage, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Is Navos a fair card?
I mean, I think it is.
You think Navos is a fair card?
Yeah. There were ways to interact with it. Play more spam enhances. Build your deck better. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's the same with missile launcher and.
So I gotta say versus this, and this is the comparison I'm making to you. Ready?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I don't know how many Navoses have you stared across?
I mean, I haven't. Okay, so disclaimer: I haven't actually experienced that many, but I've watched the card played a million times.
Okay, cool.
I've seen how it plays out.
So here's my issue with that. You ready? So I've played the 3 attacks in my hand, and I've gone through, and I've had a little bit of bad luck, and I've overcommitted just a little bit. Maybe a couple of those spam foundations that I built my awesome deck with, and my opponent is at desperation and reversals, and has all of their shit ready, and plays a Nevos, and I'm at full, and then I die.
Mm-hmm.
All that card does is say, it's a broken card, and I'm supporting the deck that can go the long game. Man, I hate when James plays lame. He just plays a throw and he plays Surveyor. I hate it so much. This is Tyler Clark. This is you. Like a year and a half ago when he was still playing this lame Eva deck. Like there are always going to be better turns phases. There are always going to be this. But Nevos, we both had a wall, and you had a card that could break the wall. With these hyper aggro cards that make getting dumpstered on turn 2. I never got dumpstered on turn 2 years ago. Ever.
Right.
Asterisk. I don't actually remember if the word ever is applicable here.
Well, didn't Mature exist 2 years ago?
No. This is, I guess. Man,
We never
I've
really
been playing this
played
game for
against it.
3 years.
It got banned after 2 tournaments that we never played. We never. tested
Either
it
way,
after.
sorry. I meant 3. My apologies. During Gray Wars or whatever.
Okay.
I still think that's a fallacy too. But there's this idea, this fact that like Nevos was just the missile launcher of a different time, where Nevos was not good on turn 2, but it was good on turn 10. And missile launcher is good on both. If missile launcher didn't have the deadlock, missile launcher would not be good on turn 10. It just wouldn't.
Right.
Stun 2 doesn't matter. The +4 speed doesn't matter because I have enough answers. But what I'm saying is Nevos at the very end of a game, we're an hour in of game 1 and you drop a Nevos on me, I'm fucked. Just like on turn 2, you drop a missile launcher on me and I go, fuck, I didn't build. I luck of the draw, I had no answers. I guess I lose. I guess you're gonna pay me for 10 because I didn't draw a low block. Or man, I only built 2 and I checked bad on 1. I didn't build a celestial being, so you killed me. Man, that feels great. Man, it feels so good.
Okay. In the simplest terms,
Sure.
What's your argument?
That there are
10 words or
always what?
10 words or less.
There are always these beater cards that affect these aspects of the game, and I'd rather have one affect later in the game than affect one be such a killer on turn 2.
So it is that
It
cards
is
shouldn't be so good.
that these attacks should not be so broken so early in the game.
Okay. So
If you want to make turn 2 feel better, make attacking on turn 1 worse. Give me better defensive options to this aggressive deck.
and how do you do that?
By either printing better foundations that hopefully I can luck into, or taking and turning down the attacks a little bit.
Okay.
And then get rid of the attacks that we've fucked up on.
Okay. So that's okay. I now understand what your argument was.
I don't think I changed my argument. Did I change my argument ever?
It was kind of cryptic. You didn't really you didn't enunciate
So like
yourself.
all I understood was that you wanted cards to be worse.
Yeah, that's all we heard was I'm Cameron Dallas
I think
Cardwell,
I think-
and I want cards to suck.
I think missile launcher should
I
be
don't
so
want
good.
cards to suck. I think Missile Launcher is a sick card on turn 4.
Yeah, but like, there's no way that you can make missile launcher not a good card on turn 2, unless you don't print missile launcher.
If your opponent has 6 foundations, mill 4 for speed or damage.
Okay.
Okay,
then
so it should be a Raiden card.
You
Sure.
get Asterix.
I'll talk to you afterwards. I think Raiden's mechanic should be a keyword.
Asterix worst deadlock, or Asterix sooner deadlock. You get to do things.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But that's a topic of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
But side note, yeah, I think the build foundation thing would be cool. So with that, I want to end this episode.
This was like 30 minutes.
I loved it. I think this is a totally fine discussion. I think not whatever. I'm not gonna jump into it. Not on the camera at least. Anything you want to add? I've dominated a lot of the time. Anything you gentlemen like to add? I'll be quiet.
I really like the idea of commit your character draw a card. I think that's fun. That's another option besides make cards worse, or just our last topic that we did a while ago.
Hyper mulligans.
Hyper mulligans.
I still like the idea of foundation building as your second player.
I agree with all of it. Let's do all of it. You can build a foundation, tap your character to draw, and bam, missile launcher. So with that,
Let's bring Grey Wars back.
what?
Let's bring Grey Wars back.
Yeah, and Navos. Bring back Navos. That card was super fun. Super fun.
Okay.
So with that, I want to end this episode. I want to do it nice and quick because we've been talking forever. If you like our content, please go to patreon.com/TCUniversity and give us support to get more wacky topics like this.
Yep.
Stay alert.
Get learned.
Been learned.
See you guys.
Love you.
See ya.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this week's episode of Study Hall. If you like this video a lot, go ahead and you can click on this one over here to see last week's video of Study Hall. This one over here is going to be a playlist of our past study halls that we've been doing or any of our other past content. We're going to have another square, I think right over here. Tam's going to put it right there for me. If you're new to UFS and you don't know what we talked about this week, feel free to check that out if you're new and you want to get to know the game a little bit better. And if you want to support us, we brought it up before, go ahead and click on our Patreon. That link's going to be right over here next to me. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll hopefully see you next week.